Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Extreme Masters Chicago South American Qualifier. Jason Kaplan joined by Banks, or I'm joining you actually today because I was supposed to be here again.
3 days in a row.
But it's good to know my food poisoning works.
Yeah, so you're just getting this sabotage in. Remember, we hear a lot about sabotage these days, especially in other genres, and you're now doing it to Snods to just ruin his career. But he is only young, and he didn't know what Minecraft S was, so maybe it was needed.
Deserved it.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, I didn't actually, text it anywhere in a group chat for people to see and blackmail me with later on. But we're into our final day now. We've had 2 days. We've had tons of games across the board, and we're finally going to find out at the end of the day who our South American representative will be, obviously besides MIBR. Let's take a look at the brackets really quickly so you can see the matches we'll have coming up here in just a few minutes. We're having 2 of them. It's going to be one best of 3, and it's going to be one best of 5. The first best of 3 is going to be NoTag up against Wild. It's a rematch from day 1, where actually Wild did beat them in a 2-1 fashion.
And Wild have been looking strong, right? We continually sit here at the beginning and praise what NoTag were able to do, just the names of the players, their past kind of accomplishments, and now we look at Wild, and okay, they have some notable players on there, maybe not the star-studded roster in comparison, but they have proven that they can do this. Now, the crazy thing for me is just every team that's met Luminosity has just fallen by the wayside. So I'd say the second-tier spot in this is certainly the one that you want to fight for most here, because we know where Made in Brazil are, right? They're right at the top. Luminosity have proven their stuff already. I don't think there's any doubt at the moment that unless we see something incredible out of the 2 remaining teams, that we could potentially see someone beat Luminosity, but at the moment they're just looking too strong. So for me, NoTag need to do this because you need an organization, right? They were supposed to have the NTC lineup come together. Things didn't work out there. They've now got a kind of redeeming factor of if you can prove yourself in these qualifiers that you're still capable and you can do it with this lineup, then organizations might look at you despite your questionable past.
Questionable, just like our cast last night. Let's actually look at the brackets now, and you can see, of course, how Luminosity did transition. Well, I say transition, but slaughter anyone that got in their way. 2-0 the entire way through. And now they do have that map advantage going into the grand final, which they could technically have another 2-0. Because that's all they need to close this one out.
Yeah, that's the benefit, right? So they've had the shortest journey here. They've done it in style, and they've made it look somewhat easy at times, especially in the game we saw yesterday where they took on Wild. Wild did kind of seem a bit almost not starstruck, but just lost for actual understanding of how to take down Luminosity, because Luminosity was not playing their usual tactical style with the skill. They were running around and going, okay, we'll give you an opportunity every now and again. We'll have a bit of fun with it, and we won't show too much. We'll save it for the grand final, knowing that going into this is the grand final where they cannot make any mistakes. So they need to keep this flawless streak up.
Perfect example was on Inferno against Wild, where Yell and Hen1 just rushed down middle on CT side with double op setup.
Yes,
they did die, but Luminosity won the round 3-on-5. So kind of weird to see that happen. It shouldn't happen in any equal matching of teams, but as you know, that's just kind of reiterating how unequal that match was.
Whole another level of confidence. Like that's when we both sat there and were like, okay, Luminosity, we can see what's going on, because it was an unnecessary poke, unnecessary peek. You put your team in a 5v3 and you still have the confidence that you're going to take that round. Fair play. I can't really fault them.
So we had an interesting play happen yesterday, and I'm really testing production on this one, how quick they are. Not the MP5. It was actually MK. There was something that happened yesterday. I'm really testing production. I'm kind of wafting on to give them the opportunity to figure out what I'm about to do here. But there was a play that happened that I want to look at again. Yeah. If they possibly... Hey, look at that! Hey! That's some tier 1 production. MK, pause here, all alone, 1-on-3. And you would say to yourself, oh, well, he's next to the bomb. He's got this, right?
Yeah. Everyone's moved away from him. He's chilling.
Easy.
Now, if he defused here, if he defused here, we would have been into a winner. Instead, he got onto it a couple of seconds too late, and then we get to see his face at the end. He goes, huh. And then look, boom. His character's face there says it all. He's like, I made a mistake, I erred, I had an opportunity, and I really wasted it.
We don't think that would have turned the tide of the match, but it definitely did not help.
You should not be making. Ever.
It didn't help their mental game, I'd say. This was mind gaming them there. Like, I could have diffused it, but I'm that confident we're going to win the rest of the rounds.
We were having the conversation, right, of would your teammates at some point say, defuse now, because you should be quiet, right? If you're playing a competitive game, if you've got one teammate alive, you should not be talking. Allow him to play his own game. But that was at the point where if I'm sat there and I'm the in-game leader, I'd be like, he's not doing it. This is getting very close. Defuse the damn bomb, like, go, go, go.
And you're being very nice with your wording as well.
Yes, I would not. I definitely, I may have used profanity when we discussed this earlier, but I have to be nice now.
You do. But that's what happened, and that's kind of an unfortunate part for Revolts. We did get to see some nice things out of them. But again, against NoTag, they didn't really seem to have no chance.
But now we get to see the rematch. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yes, so let's actually start talking about the match. That's our first matchup. It's going to be Wild. It's going to be NoTag. They played on day one.
Yep.
And can you run us through the maps and the scorelines that we did see?
So,
well, we didn't get to see it on our stream, but we do know what they played.
They previously played before, right? And what we saw was Mirage, which is a map that we know NoTag is very comfortable on. They won it 16-8, and you kind of expect that. But we also saw, this is the crazy thing about NoTag at the moment, they will lose against teams, in my eyes, that are worse than what Wild were on Mirage because of just being maybe too overconfident or too stylistic. And then they will then play a team and demolish them 16-8 like they did to Wild. But then when it comes to the rest of the maps, now Nuke, as I say this time and time again, the map pool of NoTag to me is not good enough. It's not as impressive as what it should be. They should be grinding this out a bit more. They come onto Nuke and they get rolled over by Wild. Well, the scoreline was 16-9, which doesn't tell the full story. It was very much Wild. They were on top of their game, and actually they just had teamwork down. And no matter what skill and aim you may have, unless you've got someone dropping 30, 40 bombs, it's probably not going to happen, right? Then you get to the third map, which is Dust 2. Now, Dust 2 is a map that NoTag can play, and also with their roster, like KNG, having an AWP on Dust 2, that should be some stomping ground. I'm unsure whether it was just down to them having the confidence after winning Nuke, obviously dropping the first map, winning the second, then winning the third, that Wild were able to do it. But I feel like we might get a slight repeat in terms of how the maps might go when it comes to the veto. I have heavily gone into, I actually feel I have pretty nailed the veto in this one, just because NoTag really don't have the map pool to play with. Like, this is just too much of an issue for me.
Well, then, speaking of the veto, before we get into it.
Okay. Oh, okay, Jason just unplugged himself, so he was going to ask me kindly to go down how I thought this veto was going to go. So we'll come solo on me. So how I believe this is going to go. Wild have the instant remove of Overpass. It's just
taping.
They keep
it's not my fault.
There
Whoever
we go.
taped this up,
You're back.
You're fired. You're out of here. I'm Donald Trumping you, okay? Continue.
America. So yes, Overpass, I feel like Wild will straight away remove. They want to take that out of it. NoTag now, normally they would remove Inferno straight away. But in my eyes, they don't want to leave Nuke in because they can't. You're not going to suddenly in 2 days, oh, I can play Nuke now. It's not going to happen. So it'll be either Nuke or Inferno, but Inferno is normally their insta-ban. Then it's up to Wild, who could easily pick D2. But if Inferno doesn't get banned, then you're obviously going to pick into Inferno to rush in and say, well, we can dominate you on the map you usually ban out here. Then you'll know NoTag. They're going to pick Mirage.
You wrote this down.
Oh, yeah, I went fully in depth.
He's not making this
detail.
up. He actually wrote all this down before we even talked about it.
I am seriously down for understanding how this is going to work, because I believe NoTag should be able to win this out, but Wild have a lot in their advantage now. So I think NoTag will then pick Mirage because it's their go-to map. Then we'll see Wild probably remove Train, because I just don't think Wild pound for pound can go against NoTag on Train in terms of their individual ability, and then we'll potentially see Cash left over. The only thing that I said might swap around is the D2 Inferno pick, which might then change, because if Wild would probably remove Dust 2 and leave it to go to Cash if they can.
Okay, well, you heard his picks. Let's get a look at the vetoes now to see how correct or how wrong he could be in this one. Inferno.
Ooh,
we banned away off the bat here by NoTag.
That is NoTag's normal ban, which I said they'd either remove Nuke or Inferno, so they chose Inferno. We should see Overpass gone from Wild.
Okay, so next veto, Mirage being banned out.
Okay, so they've gone away from the insta-ban, so they do not want to allow NoTag to play Mirage. It makes sense. They're playing a counter-ban to it.
Forces like a nuke ban, doesn't it, out of NoTag?
No, because you'll see, well, it's a pick now, right?
Yeah,
so you'll probably see Wild pick into Nuke. You dominated them last time, right?
Okay.
So NoTag's pick is going to be Overpass, which makes sense because that's normally the instant remove for Wild. So they're playing counters against each other. This is really actually exciting.
Nuke next, right?
Yeah, I'd assume Nuke would be picked up next. Exactly that. So we get Overpass, Nuke, and now this is where it gets dicey, because it's a big change here. We've still got Dust 2, we've still got Cash, we've still got Inferno.
No, Inferno's gone.
Oh, yeah, Inferno went at the beginning, true. So, okay, Dust 2, ban comes out on Cash. Okay, this works in Wild's favor because they're not a big fan of Cash, but that might now leave that do they choose to remove Train?
They're going to be D2 or Train, right?
There we go, D2, so they go for the win again. So, Overpass, I'm pretty sure we can see NoTag pick up. We're then likely, if they still dominate on Nuke, we'll see Wild potentially take this 2-1 just based on that. So the veto still worked out for him.
It's just kind of weird. We have 2 of the 3 maps they played last time.
Yep.
And the only map that was not picked by Wild is the map that they lost against them with Mirage.
See?
So do you think NoTag just got outplayed here? Just
Yeah,
on the vetoes alone?
So in my veto, it was basically basing off what they're going to do, their insta bans, and I only thought the D2 would be the swap around on it because I know NoTag can play it. But with how this has worked, you would certainly say that Wild have an advantage in it because Overpass is the only map that they don't play out of these. So they can easily play the remaining maps. And I would say that NoTag now need to have seriously had some improvements on Nuke.
And that's the pressure on them, right?
Yeah.
Is that NoTag, you have to win that first map now. It's a map of your choice. It's the map you're going to be most confident in this series. And if you don't win that, you then have to beat a team that's already beaten you just 2 days ago on the exact same maps. That's just going to be, it's going to be really rough. And I really wonder what they're going to do.
Also depends how much, in terms of, obviously I can't guess of how much preparation the two teams are doing, right? But you've now got a lot of games to look back at. Wild obviously haven't played Overpass, so there's nothing for NoTag to look at other than knowing that it is their insta-ban. So you can go, okay, we've got that Overpass, we should be able to have it comfortably. But if Wild have played this really smart, and they've gone, well, let's have a look at the demos, let's see what NoTag will do on Overpass, who have played it 3 times now throughout the...
At least twice, yeah.
There you go, so at least 2 times, potentially 3 times that they've played it, which means there is a lot for them to look at. And remember, with NoTag being such a new team, they're not exactly going to be, not say new team, they've played together for a long time, but they haven't got a storied map history to look at. These 3 games are key for what Wild's going to look at in terms of counter-striking if they want to go that way.
And then obviously, we do have to pay attention to the rosters from both teams. You already mentioned KNG, which, funny enough, you know, the opera for the team for NoTag, most of his kills came from like the M4 or the AK. Yeah. We didn't really see. I mean, we did see like a quad kill once or twice out of him, but the majority did come from like the M4 or the AK, like we're saying.
It was Net actually who did better with the AWP when he picked up. Remember Net? He picked up that AWP and then did the crazy jumped up and went like almost no scope to the guy jumping down into him on Overpass. Yeah, so that game.
And then you have Phelps who can also pick up the AWP if he does want to. But again, I'm not really looking towards those 2 players. I'm looking obviously towards KNG to put up some decent numbers because he seems to always put up solid numbers. But it's Ro2b.
Yes.
He played fantastic yesterday, actually. He had quite a few clutches. He was getting a lot of big kills, as well as Zand. Him together did fantastic. I think, if anything, Cello was... I can't even say Cello was quiet because I feel like he even had a great game. He had a lot of good entry frags.
They were really good, at least on the NoTag side, of playing their jobs well. You always had Phelps and KNG pretty much up there, right, as you would expect with this lineup. But like you said, Zand had moments where he would be up there doing well, putting in the extra work. There was times, obviously, for KNG where they literally just, remember, they just never went to his work site. They just kept going, so he just didn't get a chance. Then he kept rotating in and just getting taken overrun a little bit. So I think it's going to be really important here for... If NoTag can just up their game as a team a little bit more, then they do have the potential to do well. But we keep saying this because we do, you look at the names, you just expect so much more than what we've seen so far from NoTag. To me, this is NoTag's game to really prove themselves, but this is also Wild's game to lose because Wild certainly have the advantage now in the veto and just in the fact that they are playing more of a solid Counter-Strike at the moment.
And looking at the players for Wild, obviously you have Destiny, K-Tex, Landon, Tatizin, and PKL. Yeah. Tatizin had some fantastic plays yesterday. We did get to see a lot of frags out of that player. And then everyone else in general played fairly well, funny enough. It wasn't anyone that really standing out in my mind besides Tatizin. Maybe PKL had a couple of rounds here or there. But we only got to see Wild once, so yeah, you know, it's kind of unfortunate to not have a little bit more tape on them, at least from our end of live watching.
And that's the thing, right? Going into this, everyone was just like, cool, grand final's probably going to be Luminosity versus NoTag. And this is why I come back to it again. I love these open qualifiers because it gives us a chance to see the other teams coming up. Destiny and PKL, they previously played on Luminosity, right? They've had their time to shine here. They want to be going, well, I want to get back to that level again, right? Because obviously, when you saw Steel, Henny, Lucas, they all come from the other teams that were playing, and remember, they were playing abroad and stuff. They come back to Luminosity now, and it's like, well, we're still the big boys. We're having our spots. Well, Wild have certainly got something to prove here and kind of show that, hey, look, we've seen us before, but we are still here, and we can still do it.
They beat them once. If they do it again, don't they solidify themselves as being the better team?
I would say so, yeah. I think this is the game because we haven't seen too much from either teams in terms of like constant matches like we do across the rest of the world. So this is it. If NoTag can't win this, I'll go out and say it, they need to make changes. Or they need to practice harder because something's not working. Because you've been together since May with this exact roster under this name, right? Because you had NTC before, but you had Bit in there and stuff, and it was a bit of a fry up in the air of which players they were going to stay with. So you've had your time now. There are no more excuses to me. You either be able to beat Wild now, or something has to give.
Well, luckily, they don't have an organization because there's no org overpaying them a ridiculous amount of money for no results, like some other teams we do know in the Counter-Strike world.
They just lost in DreamHack Masters as well.
I don't know who you're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, let's actually take a look at what all these teams are playing for, because it's the Windy City. It's the first time Intel Extreme Masters is going to be in Chicago, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Earned it in an incredible fashion.
And one thing that I do want to mention here, Banks, as well, because we talked about these two teams, but we're kind of forgetting about the third.
Yes.
The third team in this giant mess that's going to be coming into this qualifier is Luminosity. They have the opportunity to watch this match, see who they're going to be going up against, and be able to break down what's happening. Obviously, still come into the team. I think Luminosity had to have Zach, their coach, fill in for him because he had some internet issues. I think that was on day one, if I'm not mistaken. But this is like their time. They're an established team. Got a nice organization behind them. They get to prepare for their matchup. And you would assume, being the winner bracket, not dropping a map the entire time, that they're definitely going to be the favorite in whoever wins this match here.
And this is the thing, right? I completely agree with it, but you got to also say one thing for Luminosity. For their region, right, they are very lucky that MIBR are at the level they are where they get invites. They don't have to qualify, right? Because if you were going up against the MIBR and stuff, that I would love to see, right? See this clash of the kind of real proving point of it, who is the best in that region. But MIBR get all the invites. They've had it for a while now. They certainly deserve it, which gives Luminosity this great opportunity as a team, as an organization, to get your players to these big events through this. So for me, this is if you don't win this, then you've messed up. Like, it's almost unacceptable at this point, because you've toured everyone so far, you've had good games, but you have star quality, like, players that have been at majors. They've been at the very top of Counter-Strike success. They've shown their skills time and time again. This is nothing new to them. A qualifier like this should be not a walk in the park, but it should be where you go, look, we know what we need to do. We know these teams well. It's our region. This should be our confident win. And I feel like since this lineup's come back together, we are starting to see such good synergy again, because it's the same. We get Henny back together with Lucas, you get Steel. It's like the dream trio, right? And you just see that fluid style of play come out of Luminosity that we haven't seen from the rest of these sides, even the Brazilian and Argentinian sides that we've seen in this qualifier, right? They just don't quite match up.
It's like they're missing something on T side.
That
the CTs, whoever they're playing against, can really take advantage of. But they have to wait. Obviously, that's the match that's coming up next. I want to get your predictions. You already have Wild as the team to win.
Yep.
Do you have them to win in a 2-0 or 2-1?
2-0 would depend on what research they've done. I know a fair few players I can DM and stuff, but I do not have the information on Wild in terms of that. I will go out and say that it'll be 2-1, because if NoTag can't pick up Overpass, then what the hell are you doing?
I'm with you. Actually, I want to go 2-0, actually.
Ooh.
I want to say even on Overpass, they're not going to be able to take down Wild. I think even what we saw yesterday, they didn't look that great. They did win heavily handed, but there were still a lot of mistakes we saw, a lot of like questionable plays in general.
Have to get them clutch moments out the bag to make it happen.
But then again, maybe they weren't feel like they were being pushed to play at their full potential.
Another thing as well, NoTag have increasingly got better, right, throughout this qualifier. We saw them, it's like they had a slow start. Well, this is the opening game today. You can't afford a slow start either. If they do have that same slow start we've seen, then there is that potential for a 2-0. So that's a very good point. So you could be on the money.
I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do 16.
Oh, you're going scores.
11 Overpass
16
for Wild.
Overpass.
And then 16-7 on Nuke.
I don't normally do scores, but I will go with you on this. 16-13 NoTag Overpass. Then Nuke will be like a 16-8 or 10 in favor of Wild. And
you're like Price is writing me right now. You know that, right? You're literally choosing like one number above me.
just a
you
little
do it the wrong way.
What was the third map? Oh, God, my brain. Dust 2. Okay, so Dust 2, 16-12 in favor of Wild. They take it 2-1.
Well, don't change those numbers. Someone in chat has them written down for us, because I definitely don't. We're going to be kicking this one off. It's going to be Wild on the CT side, NoTag on the T side. That's a big shout out really quickly to Rushley for doing all the observing the last few days. Doing a fantastic job of it. Always love to work with him. He has a fantastic beard. Meantime, some fantastic shots could be coming in as Landon gets the first one to Zan. Tatson eventually can be run over here by NoTag, and Cello comes in massive, but somehow they've left on 2 players. They get pushed in from door. They've been read like a book. Now it's down to a 2-on-1 with PKL on low HP, and now with Ro2b coming in, looking for his 3rd frag, and he's gonna need it. He's got the bomb. And looks like he's out of here.
That was so unfortunate as well. That went massively in favor of Team Wild. They stacked up a lot of players towards Connector. They seem to kind of have an idea of what NoTag were going to do here. Great use of that smoke from Ro2b as well means that PKL, even when he is pushing up, isn't going to have too much of an opportunity. But PKL has to get this in 2 bullets.
He's got a kit at least, though.
Yeah, he's got the kit, but his just health is so lackluster. Now he can kind of have a guess of where maybe that we'll find Ro2b, but this should be NoTag's to win. This shouldn't be too difficult. Smoke goes down and he's right on the edge of it. Yeah, he could just walk straight through. Ro2b knows exactly where he's going to be coming from, and there you go. Nicely done. Good clutch and 3 kills for that man to start off the round, and we were just speaking about how well and how impactful he can be throughout this game. So already Wild showed that they had a good read, which is a good sign at least of how their understanding of what NoTag have done, that maybe they have done their research.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to see if they're able to turn things around, bind up some pistols, a scout for Landon as well. And NoTag going to be invested into a lot of SMGs. Don't be sad. It's okay, Banks. There's no MP5. Still a lot more games to come. And a lot more opportunities to see that terrible weapon. Terribly awesome weapon.
Hey, there you go. You're learning. You're slowly.
Oh, Landon.
Was that from a Mac 10? That couldn't.
Don't know.
He got dinged, so it was an AK. Yeah, he would have died from the AK. So that was a Mac 10 spray, all the UMP that came out there. A lot of damage done onto Landon regardless, and, well, good start for NoTag. They've got to be careful on the close range quarters of these pistols. Destiny's in a good position to push down long if he needs to, but with Landon backing away a little bit, it means that he is kind of on his own. You can see NoTag, they're just holding back. They're waiting for him to come to him.
And you see Cello, like, also is a really good position to hold in for a push towards long if they did go that route. But Destiny has an opportunity to play a massive spoiler. They've actually given up the positional control, at least looking in the direction of where Destiny was. With them running away, he actually is going to hear them. He's going to spot them going for it. So the calls will be made. There's a big 4-man stack on the B site. There's every opportunity for Wild to actually pull this back with one flashbang out of Tattis. And if he hits this at the perfect moment, which he's looking for, we could see NoTag completely overrun.
This flash is going to be huge if Tarston can pull this off. PKL missing a few Deagle shots. Phelps just reigning in supreme with a Mac Daddy. It's going to earn him a decent bit of bank to work with as well. Tarzan not able to do too much from this position just yet. Does find himself the first kill, but won't be able to pick up the weapon. KNG nicely finishing him off, and Landon had already taken the damage. So Wild in a good position to do the work there, but NoTag, they seem more than prepared. They took it slow and steady.
Came in, I think, a little bit late there. Once they heard the flashbang that was thrown at a NoTag, I would assume that Tatson should have thrown his own flash in front of him, so they would run straight into that one. A little unfortunate for them, maybe some missed timing, but again, they had a good read. They're more importantly getting a lot of good information off the get-go of the round. I liked how Destiny was pushed up. I like how he saw him running away. He didn't shoot at them to give away his position, but he made the call to rotate towards that B site. If they had weapons, obviously that would have been a much different story, or at least we would assume so for Team Wild. But again, go for another stack here.
Yeah, I'm not against this. Just go in for it, see if you can maybe pick up a weapon, see if you can take some weapons away from NoTag at all. You've only got the USPs in there, right? So it's not going to be too difficult for NoTag to deal with. But when you've got all of them facing you at the same directions, you start to push in. Now, we saw this play from NoTag before, right? They went a bit slower than what we expected from them. And they very cautiously clear out all the angles. They know that this is the game, and especially this map is the one they need to kind of take here. So Kanji will start for the first kill. They start to walk into him now. They can't attacking him in. And to be very done well to get away with the first 2 kills. Unable to do any more damage though, but it's only a UMP, so it's not the end of the world, right? It's not like they've given up an AK, and Phelps, he's just gonna go on the hunt now. He's saying, give me that money, let me make some bank, and I'm gonna make it rain going into the next few rounds, and that's exactly what he does. What's that now? 6 kills in 2 rounds with the... Yeah, 6 kills in 2 rounds with the Mac 10. Look at his bank balance. He's sat there laughing.
It's making me a little bit jealous right now. I don't know about you, but... it's a lot of money on his side. And in the meantime, KNG's going to have the AWP now. Phelps going to keep the Mac 10. Even though he has 6,700 left, he's going to keep the Mac 10 into this next round. I'm actually curious what direction he's going to plan to go here for his team. He wants to play up close and personal. That A gonna come through and just completely shut down any momentum he had to push in.
That was literally like walk and chest it and go, uh-oh, it's not gonna bounce back off me. It's gonna do a hell of a lot of damage.
Anyway, 42 now down, drain for him, but luckily he's not really using a super powerful gun at all. And then comes in with a shot, gets the tag on the KNG. I'm surprised KNG was actually the person to move up first.
That's the second time we've seen him do that as well. Like, he just goes out on his own, no backup.
What was it, at the B site, he like ran through smoke towards short with the op and led his team out. Like, that's...
confidence, but crazy.
Yeah. That is a good combo of words to use for it. Now, Phelps going to transition over towards long. It looks like the hit wants to go towards A as we're approaching that 50-second mark. But Landon's already looking this direction, and as we just saw, he had an opportunity there.
Oh, Destiny's position nullified. Landon now has 2 angles to check. He needs to put the smoke down at long. He starts to get pushed in, but he's well aware of it. Starts off strong, but that's all he's going to get. He did manage to tag up KNG earlier in the round, which will put him a little bit lower, but his team now needs to deliver. K-Tech's only getting 1, and then he's straight away done. Now puts us into a 2v3. It's going to be an afterplant situation. The CTs have already spent all their utilities, so pushing into this is going to be very difficult. And actually, KNG, if he wants to use that molly or the smoke, can keep him at bay for a little bit longer. Tartar's in, able to get a few shots off, but can't find the frags, and Team Wild may need to reconsider their options here because, okay, there's a kit on site they can pick up, but if you don't get a kill in the next couple of seconds, there's no point trying to go for this.
Not to mention there's going to be 3 people holding the same angle, too. The smoke would have been really good, actually, to go for this. Instead, just going to back away, try to save these into the next round. Scary thing is, like, look at the economy out of NoTag. Phelps at 6,700, and he only had a Mac 10. He didn't even invest into an AK that round. We could potentially see the double op setup if they want to go for it on T side, though. I'm assuming that's not going to be happening. Team Wild, they're going to have the 2 M4s, probably going to force him to the next round. PK almost losing out on that one, actually. But Wild, unable to get around. I'm starting to feel like my 16-11 prediction is not going to be a good one here.
This is the thing, right? Overpass for Wild, it is their insta-ban. Normally, it's not a map we see them play all too often. I feel like this was always going to be tough for them, but like, just to get this, just to give you a perspective, right? In the last 3 months, they've played it once, and they only won 16-13 against Isurus. So that's how much they ban it out. There's not a map they clearly feel confident on. So going up against a team like NoTag, who we've seen do pretty much heavy damage to all the teams so far when they've played it, it's always going to be a difficult fight on their hands. Now, CZ's backed up by these M4s. Again, very little utility to play with. It's going to rely on them trying to catch NoTag making some mistakes here. But look how NoTag have been playing this slow and steady style. They haven't been making those opening mistakes.
I'm still wondering what round, if any, will they actually change things up, get very aggressive, and actually catch Wild off guard. I don't think we've actually seen them play fast and loose just yet in the series.
No, not at all.
A lot of flashbangs, a lot of utility being invested into the push towards B. However, taking a page out of Isurus's playbook there, using their execution and then delaying their push.
Ooh, Zan's been spotted out there from that jump. Tartar's in well aware of it now. At least tell them that we've got some players towards water, but he's only seen 1. But look at this positioning now. Coming round for the flank, depending on how fast NoTag are going to go, this could get very interesting. PKL needs to deliver, but he runs straight into him. Cello dominates 2. That's 1 M4 out of the equation already. Tartarzin could do nothing either. And NoTag, they force their way in. They do it in style, and they do it without it taking any casualties thus far. And KNG killing Destiny through his teammate. Not the end of the world. He didn't actually kill his teammate, but he was hungry for that kill. He could see it happening, and obviously he gets the advantage through the smoke. Yeah, that's a technical double. It's
you know, like football,
double the difficulty maybe, because you've not only had to get the shot perfect, but if you'd legged him for that, it'd do even less damage. So he had to be on point.
Because you know how in football, whenever a team scores on themselves, they put OG next to it for own goal.
You're talking about your football or my football?
I've been living in Germany 6 years. You can guess.
Good man. Good man. Good answer.
Would it say like, you know, like a TK? Or like a team kill? Like
come on, Blizzard. Valve even. Oh, that was... I'm turning into you.
Oh.
To be fair, Blizzard is probably still nicer than what Gavin is to do on CSGO. There you go. I'm out there. Just throwing shots. Throwing out.
It's been nice knowing you, man.
Major hopes and dreams completely wrecked now. while I'm sat next to someone who's commentated 2 majors. Might we add to this?
Get off your high horse, Banks, okay? Get off your high horse.
Either way, 5-0. It's a nice start for NoTag. I'm transitioning away from this.
Fine. I'll let it go.
Back.
I'll let it go.
Yes, do let it go. Don't make me come back. That's what Wild need to do right now. It's not going to happen if landing missed shots like that, though. Needs to be able to challenge here.
Make me Owen Wilson right now. I was hoping you would say, what do you mean? And then I would go.
I am not falling for this.
Wow.
You've seen that compilation of all the wows.
Where's... Well,
it's another one for Snods.
Wow, need to get some kills. And they need to do it very quickly.
That's better.
They need to get around on the board to actually stop this push from coming through. Destiny gets a nice little double there. Phelps is going to respawn, but with 15 seconds left to go, with pretty much all of Wild rotating back in towards this A site, their window of opportunity is just be completely shut in their faces. But there you go. It's a kill to Phelps. 8 seconds left. And another one. K-Tex is going to fall. The bomb's going to get planted, but the last 2 players aren't even going to be in sight just yet. He's trying to push to stop the bomb from going down, and Tatterson gets overrun by KNG, and NoTag should have had no chance to actually pull this round off, and somehow Wild throw this one out the door. How do you get a double kill for Destiny? Landy gets one as well, and lose a 2v5.
By allowing Phelps to walk straight up, yeah. Okay, the first shot he got, fair play. He knew, went for the pre-angle, took it, managed to get the shot off. The second kill he should have never got. And to be fair, the player that went to push Phelps when he was planting, you were just to let them have the plant. You were in a 2v2, and then you could go together. He just went out, and KNG could just hear what's going on. Oh, this is going to be easy kill. Boom, done, and round 1. That was a little bit embarrassing from Wild.
Well, you know what? I got something here that will cheer you up. PKL.
He's got the
actually dancing.
MP5. I'm so happy when I see it, man.
It's your happy dance.
Get behind my...
Doing the happy dance.
Get behind my MP5 skills, man.
We'll see if PK has a chance to use it. He's over towards Monster. In the meantime, Cello again. Going to be watching over towards Playground, towards Birthday Party. He's got Destiny off to the side, who seems to push his position quite a bit. To be fair, NoTag have like pretty much yet to push out long. So they've not really punished him, but they've been aware that he's been like to go to this location.
Little does Destiny know, Cello is so close. Phelps again, he's given so much room to push in. Does spot out one player, will go for just a one shot, won't be able to make it connect, but what's that, the second or third time now we've seen Phelps just quietly walking, no smokes, no flashes. It's because Wild are playing so defensively, right? So they're giving him the chances to push through.
We've seen NoTag do this yesterday. I think it was against Revolts. I think we saw it against Isris. They just kind of walked into sites without using any utility and just picking up quick kills. That's a nice shot, though. Destiny not able to recover the weapon, and now he's pretty much trapped. Trying to tap away at Cello's dome, but unfortunately won't be able to connect those shots. K-Tech's going to be in the site, and Zan might get cut off by this. We're going to spot him out, and K-Tex will get the kill, but again, no weapon pickup for them. The MP5 going to be coming in from CT spawn, and K-Tex has lost out on Tatazin. PKL is going to fall without a single bullet from the MP5. Landed at least take the bomb carrier down. I had to put that in there, but the MP5 doing absolutely nothing. And now against 2. No kit, and no chance. NoTag up 7-0.
Now, Jason, just to educate you.
Educate
on Counter-Strike in general for yourself. PKL did not have a chance to fire a bullet. He got wallbanged there. So you cannot blame the MP5. That was PKL getting unfortunately taken down. He did. He was stood behind the...
No. Production. Replay.
Yes, there we go. We can get a replay.
I actually don't remember if he was behind the wall or not. I just know he died. Like anyone that uses the MP5 should. Wow. You know, if we agree in everything, then it wouldn't be fun.
No, it wouldn't. But I was thinking after yesterday, you were kind of getting behind the MP5. You're understanding its
I never
power.
have been behind it.
Letting me down, Jason.
Well, because I like to, you know, not die when I play, so I use good guns.
Oh. Well, maybe I'm just that good
like
that I can rock the MP. you cannot say the R8. It's not allowed. It's not acceptable. I'm really pushing the boat out with the MP5, right? The R8's borderline insanity.
I'm gonna be that guy that's like, yeah, I said the MP5 was great before anyone else knew it was.
Exactly.
I'm be the first.
See, I'm there. I'm
be
ready.
The hipster.
Hipster MP5. Let's go. But no, it's NoTag show once again regardless. Cello's just walking straight in, able to get a nice kill onto Destiny. He's cleared out the site while his team are on the other bomb site. So NoTag are that confident, but Landon wants to try and shut down this rush. Misses a key shot there. He will be forced out, and now it's all onto K-Tex. He's already taken a fair bit of damage. Can he walk away with at least a couple of kills here? But Horve, well aware that he might try coming from water. The bomber doesn't even go down. And NoTag now pretty much look unstoppable when it comes to Overpass T side. Remember, the times we have seen NoTag, because they picked into it, they generally started on the CT side, which is why we've seen teams get a little bit closer in kind of the score lines, because we only saw NoTag do T side for like 5, 6 rounds, and they just went absolutely every time. Completely confidence, complete dominance, because they will just rely on that key aim with KNG being there and having the AKs to back them up for the one-shot capabilities and push forward.
I said 16-0, right? First map for NoTag, that's what I said.
I don't think it was. Don't think it was. I think you said Wild 2-0, my friend.
I don't know what you're talking about. I thought you said the MP5 was a good gun. No, now we're just all liars here.
Well, CZ's in play.
Thought you had some on that one.
Nope. I'm not falling for your baits on my correct predictions and your incorrect predictions.
Well, I did say 16-11, so there's a chance.
I'm not doubting there's a chance on the scoreline. I just can't see Wild coming back on a map that they pretty much insta-ban, don't play anytime soon. But I'm behind Wild to win the series. Just not in your crazy way of thinking.
Do you know what that says, by the way? Abenteuer Spielplatz?
No, no idea.
Me either.
I was like 6 years in Germany. Jason must know.
Well, Spiel is like play, and Platz is like place. It's like a place, like a playground.
Adventure Playground, I just heard as well. See? There we go. Don't know why it's an adventure playground. There's a load of terrorists walking around with guns in their hands. Wouldn't want any children. Definitely wouldn't want my son anywhere near that place. Scary prospects. But if he had an MP5, he'd be completely fine.
God. All right, Mr. America over here. Just living in Texas where you're born with a gun in hand.
Yeah, don't they just give us, like, as you come out of the womb, they just drop a gun on your, like, here you go, here's your first pistol, mate.
What, you ordered 2 scoops of ice cream? Have a gun. But right now, Team Wild need to be getting around here somehow. Potentially going to be down 9-0, most likely to be down 9-0. They're just trying to save and look for these exit frags. And I don't know what's going on within the Wild camp, but it's just not looking good at all. And to be fair, it's not even like they haven't had chances. They had a 5-on-2 and they threw that away. They've had opportunities. They had a big stack on the B site and a flash to set up a big push or a big counter that they fluffed on. And Team Wild just, in rounds they should be able to win, are unable to do so. And that's on CT side. Oh, that is it.
Okay, so for me on this round, I need to see some sort of aggression come out of the CTs. I don't mean just the standard mid push and then full box when some pressure comes towards them. I want to see a couple of players maybe go down long A and try, because they've constantly put one player down there, but why not try force the angle, force the position out of NoTag, try and surprise them a little bit, because NoTag, they haven't really had to differentiate between kind of going slow and fast and mixing up. They are just playing and winning and landing. That's what we needed to see, him landing the shots onto KNG, and for once KNG will be taken down, which puts Wild, for the first time in as long as I can remember, a one-man advantage early on.
Well, they did have a 3-man advantage, and they still couldn't win that one, so hopefully for their sake they can turn things around here. I'm with you on the aggression, though, because they've let NoTag set up like every single time for these pushes. It's not like they've been disrupted. It's not like they've been forced to use utility when they didn't want to. TKL needs to be very careful here, as he could have been spotted out. He's expecting the boost to come through, too, and if he looked there, you know, a couple seconds earlier on, he actually would have been spot on with that decision. Look at this, they're just walking through. There's nothing here to stop them. Ro2b gets in. He's gonna be spotted up by the guy in upper. But the pressure's now there. I don't know how this happens time and time again.
And the thing is, all this has done is distract Wild, right? Ro2b, they all started to look towards him. Zan's pushed up short as well. Now you've got all the T's pretty much in your grills, ready to shut you down. Tardazin's trying to get himself in a nice spot. He is flashed out, but he may be undetected. It will allow him to get, oh my, will get away with that kill, but that was awkward. You've got to play better than that, Tartazin. I know the pressure's on. You should be easily making these frags. Now, they do pick up a round. It did start off with that early kill against KNG, but even then, that whole push was very awkward. Like, they didn't seem to have the communication there of what we would expect from Wild.
I don't understand how Ro2b is able to just walk through Monster. No smoke, no flash, just hold shift, whatever button he has bounded to, and just walk straight through and without being punished. The only thing he got spotted on was the guy in upper, which, yeah, I guess they had some angles, but they didn't have the utility ready to stop them. And again, NoTag got the engagement they wanted to. It just didn't work out for him this time. But at the same rate, if Team Wild lose this round, they were potentially looking at a 14-1 scoreline overall in the series, or in the map.
KNG though, time and time again now, he's starting to meet Landon. Landon under pressure as well, able to get 2 kills. The rest of his teammates are falling though in the process, but this has given Landon a great opportunity to work off of here. And Destiny, he can hear what's going on. They're also trying to hunt him down. He needs to get this kill onto Ro2b, tags him up quite heavily, does finish him off. Landon's still able to pick up frags regardless. And now Destiny is actually behind Zand. He's well aware of it, but he's now on 15 health, 2 versus 1. NoTag potentially dropping 2 rounds in a row, landing with a huge 4K to close it out. We said we want to see aggression, Jason. They certainly brought it to the table.
Did they bring it too late now, Banks? 2-9, and they'll be switched over to the T side momentarily. To the harder side to play on most maps.
I would say 9-6 is not how it should be CT side. You should look at having a better scoreline, ideally 8-7 maybe. If they can get 9-6, they've got an opportunity, they've got a chance. Yeah, but that's if they have to get all the rest of the rounds. If it gets to 10 or 11, then you pretty much say NoTag. We've kind of not got it in the bag. Nothing's guaranteed in Counter-Strike, but they're looking hella strong. And Phelps, once again, you send them to him, he lines them up, and he knocks them down, and he makes it look easy. And maybe the weakness here is this B site, because everyone's just been cleaned up. Now it's up to Destiny and Landon to try and rotate back into this. And actually, NoTag don't even have to hit this site now, right? And Landon
Flashed up.
Didn't get a chance, completely blind. Destiny's just going to try to sneak through. KNG does miss the shot, but there's a person on the flank of Destiny. But it'll get finished off by Zand anyway, so that 9-6 potential dream is over now for Team Wild.
Some stats here, Rush, actually. I want to see scoreboards. You saw K-Tex, 2 kills. Tatizin, 2 kills. Landed at 12 because 4 of those came from the last round they did win. Not looking too good. And we can even take a little bit of a further delve into what other stats are there. 8 flashes for Tatizin, but look at that. 20 for Phelps, 10 for KNG, and that utility damage of 126 for Zan. Like, just across the board. Obviously, when they're winning 10-2, you expect something like this, but Team Wild are just, they seem to miss a step here. And maybe it's just due to the map, like you were saying, Banks.
Well, Team Wild may have the ultimate idea on how to win this round. It is the MP5s in hand. And Destiny starts off to potentially grab himself an AK to work with as well. The dream is on. The dream is still alive, as long as you've got an MP5 in your hand. And we get to watch K-Tex walk around with it, looking like a boss.
I mean, if your dream's to lose the round, then yeah, sure. They got twice the dreams.
I'll allow you to keep saying this, because you don't play Counter-Strike, right? You don't have that, like, extensive Counter-Strike experience anymore. So not having the MP5, having not used it, you don't really understand. So I'll allow this to slide this time, Jason. You can sit there, and I can talk with the real CSGO people in chat and tell them how good the MP5 is, because they know, they understand, they see the power in that weapon. Okay, one of them's gone down already. K-Tex, please do something.
Jesus. Can I get some owl for this? God damn. You haven't played CS, Jason. Like, you don't have to call me out on it, you know?
Oh, I'm only joking, Jason. I don't want to kill our relationship this early on.
It's too late.
We only got together yesterday. Oh, then he's lost his MP5. God damn it. I'm really trying to, like, believe one of these teams or players will work out how the MP5 is supposed to be used. I promise. Still a NoTag show. You've got no words anymore, have you, Jason?
Still don't know what to say, you know? It was harsh.
It's fine.
I'm glad I can't see a Twitch chat right now.
It's fine. You're taller than me. You're more handsome. You've got a better outlook on life. You're wearing a nicer shirt than me.
Keep going.
See, I'm just massaging that ego back in.
I'm like not even looking at you, but I'm like, you know, okay, I'm listening. At the moment, I think you need to give Wild these compliments because they are just not looking good here. Again, so it's the first map. It's a map that they don't play that often, and it was a map of NoTag's choosing. But they are just walking all over them. And I kind of wonder, like, Nuke, 16-9, you were saying it wasn't really that close. Wild did just, you know, walk over them for the most part. But I wonder, the momentum, the mentality of being able to stomp the team that beat you in the upper bracket.
I'm going to say no, sadly, because they had this exact same scenario. They won the first map last time with Mirage, 16-8. Oh, Destiny, we heard the MP5. Listen to that beauty go. Get 1 kill for me, please, buddy. You absolute letdown.
You absolute tit.
There's only so many times you can get away with saying that on broadcast. But that was because I was genuinely disappointed in his failed defuse. but it's not looking good regardless for Wild. They're semi-forcing up into it. They're not really doing it in a solid stance. Phelps has actually been very dominant this game. He will be the person to go down regardless, but this is not going to be too much of a problem unless Landing can get away with a couple more shots like that. Actually tags Horvey up through the smoke as well, so this gives him an opportunity to work with, but already he's got an idea they'll be rotating back round. They need to get over there nice and fast.
I wonder if PKL's able to pick up a weapon, though. Oh, I'll kind of run.
Good spot, though, for Landing. Oh, that's 2 tags now. So both Cello and... Oh, Kenji was there. I was thinking the one taps with the... Didn't have the MP5.
He did. He picked it up. He picked up an MP5. I swear. I was watching.
Damn it.
I swear he had it, and that's why he died.
Destiny was on the MP5. Is that really the gun he picked up?
He picks it up.
I'm ready.
When he rotates to connector, he picks up the MP5.
PKL is back on the MP5 regardless.
Watch. Okay, so now he goes and picks it up here. In the meantime, Zan going to be the one to push out towards water. Cello going to be actually challenging out towards the middle. Has the 2 players there. K-Tech's going to get the frag on the board here. And Zan's going to push in. And the B push is going to be all on PKL. MP5 in hand, and he's dead.
Okay, PKL did pick up the MP5, but when he went out for that shot, he had the Deagle in his hand, so you're only half right.
Because he knew the Deagle was better than the MP5.
Yeah, the Deagle is better than the MP5. I'll give it that.
He was only going to use MP5 when he ran out of Deagle shots.
Exactly, it's the quick turn to it and spam down. I'll give you 0.5 of a point for that one, Jason.
5 a point, so half a point.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of halves, we're now halftime here, ladies and gentlemen. We got to head to a short break for about 2 minutes of time. And when we come back, we'll continue with NoTag winning currently 13-2 here against Team Wild. And ladies and gentlemen, we're back here to continue something that shouldn't be broadcasted, I think, ever. A slaughter of Team Wild, as it's 13-2. Pretty sure it's illegal in every country of the world.
Apart from America.
Too soon.
Nah.
Too soon.
They got to learn the lesson eventually. Like, come on, let's just change the laws. Let's make things nicer.
Out of the 270 days of this year, there's been 270-something mass shootings.
I did look at the stats, and I was very thinking, like, what's it going to take? Until the president gets shots, I think it won't change.
Oh, there was like, whoa, okay. Let's get, all right, let's change topics. It's getting really dark now. I actually did see like an article about like Fox News, and everyone knows Fox News is like the
terrible
biggest joke.
Yep.
They're talking about how, you know, video games should be taken away from kids, you know? We're going to look back, you know, because cigarettes are monitored, alcohol's monitored, why aren't video games monitored? You know, 20 years from now, we're going to be looking back like, how did we ever let our kids play video games? It's like, isn't there something called the ESRB that gives
the
age
whole
ratings?
rating we've had since the beginning. It's not
Parenting to not buy those games for those young and underage kids. Or mental health issues could also be something, or maybe gun control. Who knows? There's just so many things potentially. It just could be because video games. Idiots. 13-2. NoTag on the defense on that CT side, and Cello, I would imagine, is gonna be overrun here. He's not alone at the site, but Horvey's gonna be over towards Toxic. The push is gonna come through. They're gonna spot them, but can they hit the shots is the question now, Banks.
Well, Cello starts off strong. He's got a bit of backup with him now. Can he continue to deliver? Horvey stepping up. Headshots galore. Can he get some more damage done? He is certainly feeling it. Landon eventually falls, but that was a solid hold from both Horvey and Cello.
I'm actually like really tilted right now, and I almost don't want to cast him because of how frustrated I am with the arguments. Okay.
Well, the fact that your prediction is going to be
it has nothing to do with
incorrect.
my prediction.
Oh, okay.
It has to do with what we were just talking about before this round.
Oh.
So tilted for me.
Well, the way I look at it, I tweeted it out myself as well. And I said, eventually, the media will again, because of what happened, they'll slaughter us for a few days, and then they'll get bored and they'll disappear, and no one will care what they said in the first place, and nothing changes. Rinse and repeat, and we'll see where we are in 10 years' time. Jason's just shaking his head, and he is American. You're basically European at this point.
The thing is, is that when you grow up in this mindset of like, oh, you're the best country in the world, and you're not better than everyone, but like
You're definitely not, by the way.
No, exactly. Landon, that was a fantastic little shot there. I guess we should maybe remember to see us. But when you're brought up in the U.S., it's like you don't realize how small you actually are in the world. Coming over to Europe, I've learned quite a bit. Humility. I've learned that the U.S. is really not the best country in the world. Phelps, not the best position in the world there either, as KNG's gonna be there to respond though with the FAMAS. You say FAMAS or FAMAS?
I say FAMAS.
Okay. I think I
It sounds like I'm saying arse too much if we go FAMAS.
I used to say FAMAS, but then you run into the posture, we're like, no, it's not FAMAS, it's FAMAS.
Yeah, that's because they've got no clue. Pretentious posh people.
They don't play the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is probably why I
they
say
just buy
FAMAS.
the guns instead. They got the money, they're rich, they want to throw things around. Probably the type of people that say FAMAS probably say, FAMAS, I can't even say it correctly when I'm trying to say it incorrectly. They're probably the type of people that go poaching as well. Bringing up all the topics today, Jason.
Why are you doing this to me? I want to have a career after this show. I wasn't even supposed to be here these last 3 days. No Cello, perfect position, gets to spread down onto 2. And in the last alive with a scout, it's going to be overrun by Cello. And 15-2, it looks like NoTag are just going to close this out in a pretty fast fashion.
5-man, MP5, let's go. That's their way back in.
I have the money for it.
God damn it.
Don't you even know how much the MP5 costs?
Yes, I do. I didn't look at the money. I just went for the golden, let's go, let's try.
Let's prove you know how much it costs.
Oh, off the top of my head.
I actually have no clue how much it costs, so I really wanted to take you down with me. We'll give you a second to think about it. While in the meantime, NoTag, Mason KNG can be pushing up in towards middle. You see Wild already set up. PKL hits a fantastic shot with the scout there. KNG's able to get the trade onto Destiny though in connector, and still, even with the man advantage here, Wild don't have the weapon advantage. Horvey and Phelps actually going to be holding down this B site as KNG is going to get aggressive, looking for information over towards A. All right, well, Landon looking to land another fantastic shot like he did in the round prior over towards A. KNG, though, is going to go for the challenge here, and Wild, I think they realize. Actually, I'm surprised Wild aren't grouped up here. They're very spread out here. They're very far apart from each other. They're susceptible to being picked off. Especially if KNG comes around this corner, he could easily have a quick frag or two, and Tatchison might walk into this.
1500.
All right, you've had time to think.
Yeah, 1500, they could have bought it, but they wouldn't have had any armor or utility, so it wouldn't have been a good idea, because the MP5 is pretty bad without the armor.
I knew you'd remember how much it was without having to use Google and look it up.
100% use Google, but thank you, Jason, for
I
trying
was
to cover
giving you the benefit of it.
I know, but I'm an honest person. Yeah, I'm sat here, I'm fine to say that. The thing with the MP5, right, it keep going on about it, but it is useful, it is viable, but it's not viable without armor, and generally you'd still choose the UMP over it.
I think we've seen even with armor, it's not that viable, to be fair.
Jason, don't make me start again. Either way, NoTag. He's going to try and clutch this one out. Damage is already... Oh, this is looking good on a turnaround. They need to get on that bomb fast, though. Morve taps it. K-Tech coming around the side. They do both get finished off. So Wild get another round on the board, and they do make that buy work. Maybe they would have made it easier if they had gone in for the MP5s.
Oh, my.
There is potential, Jason. They might have kept 4 alive rather than 2 alive if they had MP5s.
You know what?
Someone will start, like, people will back you up, right? If you're playing with the MP5, it is useful. They've just not understood this just yet.
No, it's funny because you say, you know, I don't play the game, and, you know, I don't know much about the guns. And then every time we've seen the MP5. Oh, are you talking about the MP5 in, like, Call of Duty?
No, because that game's terrible. Maybe I'm reliving 1.6 days. Maybe I'm sat. Maybe I'm just so far on a nostalgia trip.
Rose-tinted glasses you're looking back on it on.
Yeah, see, I'm just sat there. So many dreams, so many memories, just spraying people down, rushing everywhere. You could run and shoot with it. It was perfect recoil control. It was.
I miss burst fire Glock in 1.6. I don't like burst fire Glock in CSGO.
No one uses burst fire Glock. Yeah.
Jumping, bursting with the Glock in 1.6 was like one of the most satisfying things. The only thing more satisfying was probably 1 Deags.
Yeah, but we said that yesterday, right? The Deagle shots that you pull off in 1.6 was so much more. Like, you'd feel better about getting it done than in this game. Oof. Talk about getting some nice shots done. K-Tex will be able to finish off Zand. Now, NoTag, they've got a lead going into this, and now it's an even bigger one as Ro2b picks up another kill. Phelps coming up through connector, and this should be, if he meets K-Tex, will he look for it? He goes in, but he's still fast the finger on the trigger, and now it's all up to Tartars. And he's got the AK, but he's just been blinded. They've not pushed into him just yet. He comes around the side. Phelps pokes out. Tarzan gives away his position. He's going to try to run back here. They push into him, and NoTag will take the win. They'll take the first map, and that was in a very, very convincing fashion there, Jason. Unbelievable stuff.
That was a very one-sided game, and that's funny enough, exactly what I predicted. 16-3 for NoTag. You can't prove me wrong.
Someone please just go back if you've clipped it and just prove how terrible this man's prediction was, because Wild will not be winning 2-0 now, and that wasn't even close to your prediction. But my prediction was wrong. I thought it was going to be a lot closer than that. I gave Wild an opportunity to say they had a chance on a 16-12-13.
What are the chances we're both wrong and NoTag win Nuke into 2-0?
Well, I'd actually be really happy if we saw that. Obviously, not if you're a Wild fan, but I mean, NoTag actually living up to the potential we expect from them. At least it proves that they are starting off a bit better. But we got Nuke coming up next, and...
Well, they get choice aside, though. They can start CT.
If you still don't know Nuke, they had the choice aside last time,
But they have the choice!
But if they don't know Nuke, right, there's no way from day one to now that they have reinvented themselves that good on Nuke. It will... If Phelps can have another performance like we just saw, right, and if everyone's hitting shots, then of course, yeah, you could overrun them. But you still have to be able to play the fundamental basics on that map. And Nuke is not a map where you, like, on Mirage or on Cash, you can play loose, you can run it a little bit more ragged. You cannot do that on Nuke. You need to know pretty much the ins and outs if you want to be a confident team. Just look at some of the Danish teams that play it, right? Like, we just saw Heroic had an absolute stomp on it. They're playing fantastic. Optic.
Oh, right. Got it.
Yeah, and there you go. See, like, Optic, a team that should be on paper, in terms of the players and the skill they have on the team, be better than Heroic, and Heroic showed their stuff because they're a confident team on Nuke. It's one of their picks.
Well, speaking of Nuke, that will be our second map when we do get into it. We do have to head to a short break. When we come back, it's going to be Nuke. We're going to find out if NoTag can somehow pull off a surprise victory here, or probably not, and we'll probably be going to a third map. We'll see you guys soon.